for a moment, please stop and ask me questions at any stage, or Richard. There's kind of a few general questions that people always ask, so I'll kind of try and sort of preempt that now. One of the things people always ask me about are the kind of whole application procedure and interview, and what our expectations are during that period. Well, first of all, people say, you know, can I apply directly from A-levels, or will I have to do a foundation diploma? I would say that you can apply directly from A-levels, but I will be honest with you, only 20% of our students do come directly from A-levels, and we have more students that will either come from one of the national diplomas or from foundation diploma, as opposed to directly from A-level. Now, there are various reasons for that. And it's usually because obviously all of those who've done foundation diploma, they already have done their A-levels, and then they've extended their education further. They've been on a diagnostic programme, and they're really sure that they want to be a photographer or work within photography. I think with A-levels, it's hard to know that at that stage, unless you're one of those A-level students that's done above and beyond. And if you are, you would be one of those 20% who would stand a good chance of coming to us. But if you are one of those people that I'm talking about, you need to make sure in your application and in your personal statements that you really point out what you have done which is above and beyond. So that may well be you've won some photographic award, you've been a school photographer, you may have a friend who's a photographer and in family you've been often assisted or interned with them. Just something that suggests that you've done a bit more than your mate who's sitting next to you in your A-level class in photography. Because everybody who applies to us pretty much is doing A-level in photography. So you've got to think about what else can I bring. And part of the reason you have to think about that is because we do have a lot of applicants. And one of the reasons that the standard of the work that our students produce is so high is because we do take good students. So therefore, there is a certain expectation that they will be able to achieve. So that's why we do often recommend the foundation diploma, because we feel that will start to give students the edge, and as I say, it will help them make the right choice. Now, I'll dip into dad mode for a moment. I did this with my son. My son, when he left school, he was strangely a very bright child and did very well in his GCSEs and his A-levels. And through that, he could have got a place pretty much on any academic or arts-based degree in the country. But he wanted to do film, or he thought he wanted to do film. And I said, look, how can you be 100% sure just from knowing that you enjoy watching film? You never even made a film. And he came and he did the Art Foundation here, absolutely loved it. And what it did, it reinforced the fact that he wanted to do film. It had practical implications, but he also learned about where film fitted in with the rest of art design. So of course he'd already raised his ideas, perceptions and knowledge so much that when he started the course he was really, really prepared. That would be the advice I would give for anybody who's kind of wavering unless they're 100% sure. As far as the interview process is concerned, a few tips I will give everybody. Please remember that all interviews they are of a finite amount of time. We're looking at kind of 20 minutes probably for most places in the country. So within that 20 minutes, you have to really, really kind of sell yourself quite well. And if you don't prepare for it, you won't be able to. You'll be one of those minutes where you'll be walking out the room and go, oh, if only I should have said these kind of things. We've all been there, we've all done that. And of course you'll be nervous, because everybody's nervous at interviews. I've not met somebody that isn't nervous at an interview, because you care about it, because you want the place. So just be prepared. So your portfolio, 15 images is fine. 15 good images, no replication, not so much work in progress. Images that stand out, that you're happy with, that anywhere that somebody stops in the portfolio and leaves it open, you'll feel confident with. Yeah? So you've got a good, strong portfolio. We can always ask to see more. But if you fill it with loads of stuff which is just padding, we can't take it out of our heads again once we've seen it. So to think about how it is for us with our short amount of time when we interview you. Sketchbooks. Sketchbooks show us how you think and how you work through the creative process. The sketchbooks are a must. Now, with your sketchbooks, some students, especially foundation diploma students, they end up with a wheelbarrow full of sketchbooks by the end of the course. I would suggest you sort out maybe the best of 3, no more than that, because it's the law of sod dictates that if there are 6 that are on the table, we will pick up the worst ones, the weakest ones, the first ones that you did, and we won't have time to look at the ones you wanted us to. So what you do, you preempt that and make sure what you bring is the right stuff. And then finally, another really good tip is that, especially if you know that maybe your GCSE English was a bit of a struggle for you, if maybe you haven't got an A-level English, it's an honours degree, you're going to have to write essays and reports. So therefore, it's always best to bring some written work with you too. Ideally a decent essay. Just put it in the back of your portfolio. So anywhere you go in the country, if someone says, we'd like to see an essay, we're not too sure about your level of English here, you can say, here's one, I have read this one earlier, I can leave this one through with you, shred it when you finish with it, and then you don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, people will call in for an essay, you're going to be fretting about it, is it good enough, etc, etc, etc. Did they get it, they've not responded to me, whereas actually it just speeds up the process if they have a copy. Yeah? So I would suggest you do that. I said that was the last thing, but there's one more. If you get a bit nervous, a bit tongue-tied, notes. Yeah? No one will mind if you bring out the notes. If I say to anybody here now, you're quite relaxed, you just come for an interview, if I ask you who your favourite photographers were, 10 favourite photographers, you could probably do it. But when you're in that interview, and somebody asks you that question, you're going to freeze. Even if you really know your stuff, it happens all the time, you see it time and time again. If you've got some notes that you keep with you, and you can just be honest. I'm a bit nervous, I'm really sorry, do you mind if I refer to the notes? Oh, well, that's good, that's student prepared, we like that. Don't think that you have to keep everything in your head in that situation, we do understand. I've had a student who came to me, lovely lad, I gave him a place. He was so nervous, his tongue stuck to the roof of his mouth, so he hadn't got support. I went and got me a drink of water, it was fine, But these things do happen, and we do understand it. We interview a lot of people, so we are prepared for it. The other thing is, people always ask me about the area and accommodation and those sorts of things. Bournemouth is a nice area to be. It's a lovely area to live. It doesn't have kind of a lot of the inner city problems that maybe some of the universities have. Accommodation is it's plentiful. We've got around Charminster and Winton, there's lots of big student houses, kind of nice sort of Victorian houses, and that have been converted into 6-bedroom houses into student